Hello, everyone. Good morning from Toronto, Canada. This is Amir Ismail with you. As you might know, I'm an authorized citizenship and immigration advisor based in Toronto, Canada. And we have these weekly updates for you live from Toronto. And I'm thankful that you join us regularly. Today, we will also be joined with our international Asian and director from all the way from Karachi, Pakistan, Mr. Khwaja Noman, and we'll have some updates. Just to give you a quick updates on the pandemic situation in Canada, it is still not very good. We are in red category in Toronto at the moment, and that means that businesses are closed. People are advised to keep their distance, and situation is not that good. But good news is on horizon. I believe there are news about the vaccine coming soon in North America at least, and then the rest of the world. And one thing perhaps is sure that Canada would continue to welcome immigrants. And the reason we all know that this country's economy depends mostly on immigrants. Immigrants bring skills, they bring money as well, of course, and they help in creating jobs because 30% of these immigrants end up starting up their own businesses and hiring people. So, if you would look at the recent announcement from the Minister of Immigration, you might have noticed that Canada has increased the target for 2021. And it is partly because of the fact that in 2020, Canada was not able to welcome the number of immigrants they were expecting to due to pandemic. And to compensate that, and the fact that in the next 3 years, if Canada is to recover, if it has to see economic recovery, it has to bring in more people. And that is why I believe this is the most appropriate time for anyone who is interested in migrating to Canada to submit an application. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at the recent express entry draws, you might have noticed that the number of invitation that were issued in these last two draws, they have increased to 5,000. It usually remains in the vicinity of 3,000 to 4,000. But in the last two draws, we saw that Canada selected 5,000 applicants to apply for immigration, which is a clear indication that they are preparing, they are gearing up for the next year. Because we understand that when someone is invited to apply for immigration, they are not issued immigration right away. They have to submit an application for permanent residence. They're given 60 days time to arrange documents, and these days they are giving 90 days because of the pandemic. So submitting an application and then processing it and then conducting background security checks, it takes a while. So by the time these people who are being invited in, say, November, December, or early part of 2021, they are expected to be issued permanent residence visa during the course of 2021. And the target of 401,000 immigrants can only be met if Canada starts inviting more people. If we have more slots available, it is likely that the ranking score required for someone to get invitation is likely going to go down. And because there'll be more people, more slots available, the provinces who work in conjunction with the federal government, they will also have more quotas available to them. We have already seen that throughout the year 2020, the invitations have not stopped. In fact, there is a breaking of a record in terms of invitation issued in 2020. And we also see that the provinces are very much active in inviting applicants to apply for provincial nomination for permanent residence in Canada. And provincial nomination is important not only because provinces do get a lot of talent, but also the fact that you get 600 extra ranking points. Now, mind you that when you are invited to apply for provincial nomination, or even if you are interested in applying for provincial nomination, there are no guarantees because of the fact that you still need to meet the provincial criteria, and you also need to wait for the provinces to select you. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that it is worth the try, especially for people who have lower ranking score, lower in the sense that they compare the going pass rank at the moment, and then they say, I should not submit my express entry profile because, say, I have 430 points, 430 ranking points. And that's the mistake they make, because it is true that with 430 ranking points, they might be discouraged and they might think that they might not get an invitation to apply. But at the same time, because they are not in the express entry pool, their profile is not available for selection by provinces. Provinces work with the express entry system, and some of the provinces don't even require you to approach them. I'm talking about provinces like Ontario or Alberta. These provinces do not require you to even create an expression of interest with them. So as soon as you are in the pool, you are a potential candidate for at least these two provinces. In fact, there are more provinces. We can talk about even Nova Scotia that regularly selects people directly from the pool. So these are the reasons that you should be in the pool to benefit from the direct selection if you have the required ranking score, or a selection by the province. Other provinces such as Saskatchewan or Prince Edward Island or many others, they require you to create your expression of interest application with them as well, in addition to creating your express entry profile. So the approach should be 360. You create your express entry profile and you also approach provinces, and then only you can expect some outcome. Still not guaranteed, but worth a try. Okay. So today, of course, we are going to take some questions as well. We are going to bring in our director in Karachi, Khwaja Naman Ahmed, as well. He will be happy to answer some of the questions generally and specifically for the region he looks after, and we'll be happy to attend to those. In terms of the express entry system, I'm sure many of you are already aware about the system, how it works. I'm just going to give you a very quick outline of the system. That there are 4 steps involved to apply for express entry. Number 1, you need to, of course, ensure that you're meeting the minimum requirement of Federal Skilled Worker Program or Trade Program or Canada Experience Class Program. We do make assessments for our clients. They complete our assessment form, and we let them know whether they are qualifying or not. And then if they are qualifying, you create your express entry profile. Next step would be that you need to arrange documents. Some of the documents could be arranged later on once you receive your invitation to apply, but some of the documents are mandatorily required initially when you're creating the profile. For example, passport, language test, educational credential assessment, Canadian provincial nomination if you have one, or a job offer if you have one. Step 3 would be to submit your application, your profile in the pool, and you'll be ranked against the ranking against other applicants. Once you receive your invitation to apply, you apply for permanent residence. It is at that time that you're submitting an actual application. So these are the 4 steps I quickly wanted to discuss with you. And we'll see if we have few questions that we could attend to. Just wanted to touch base upon the recent report we discussed last time as well, a recent survey which was conducted by the World Education Service. And it is surprising to note that there is no change in people's perception or intentions about migrating to Canada. In fact, the interest has increased considerably. Countries like Philippines, for example, there is a considerable change where people have actually indicated an increase in their interest in migrating to Canada. Other countries include, for example, Pakistan, Nigeria, India, Lebanon, Bangladesh. All these respondents of the survey indicated that they are more interested. And the reason why I would think is that the pandemic has actually brought in a lot of changes in our lives. It has made us understand a lot of aspects of our lives, things that we have taken for granted. But at the same time, there have been, of course, a lot of misery and agony, and there have been loss of lives. But there are some lessons that we have learned, and perhaps as human beings, we can utilize them in our lives. One of the lessons that we have learned on the immigration front is that people have come to realize that their governments, how do they respond to a catastrophe? How do they respond to the needs of people when there is a natural disaster? And we saw that Canada has aced in that area. We see that Canadian government has provided immense support to people in terms of finances, in terms of support. Of course, medical and everything else was already free, but those people who were impacted by the virus, they were all provided financial support, and they continue to receive that financial support. So you basically need a government which is there to stand by you. And that is why, perhaps, although Canada is also impacted by the virus, but we see that people are comparing Canadian situation with that of their own country's situation, and they are deciding that perhaps they're better off coming to Canada, especially when the government is relying on immigrants, and they understand that immigrants contribute to the economy, and there is no point in stopping. Other countries like USA, for example, might have stopped issuing visas and stopped people from coming into the country in various categories. At the same time, Canada has kept its door open. Borders restrictions, of course, are there, and we are not allowing foreign nationals to come to Canada except those who come under an exemption. But otherwise, immigrants are always welcome, and with the hope that the borders open in future, Canada cannot stop processing application. They need to do that in order to avoid any gaps. So with that, I'm gonna invite our director in Pakistan, Khwaja Naman, to have a few words with him. And then I see that there are so many comments accumulating. I see we have Naeem Abbas with us, Hussain with us, Chowdhry Sab with us, Azabati, Tanveer, Naman Zia, Arif Iqbal. Welcome to everyone. Let me bring Khwaja Naman. Welcome to the show, Khwaja Sab.
Welcome. Bear with me with the mask because I'm open in a public place, so that's why I have to wear it. So
Sure.
bear with me with that. Hello, everyone. This is Naman Khwaja, representing Amir Ismail Saab in his Karachi office. And it's already almost 9:15 here. And we are just here to serve you, guide you to the best we can. And still, during the days of the pandemic, we are standing by with you and trying our best to serve you to the best. Yes, as Amir Saab discussed earlier, we have been working on a 360 approach here, and trying to serve our clients to the best of our interest, and as well as the client interest is paramount.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I see that you are taking measures. We have to start living with the virus, and but at the same time, of course, life is precious, so you have to make sure that you take those precautions. Now, a lot of people ask me the question, and when I established this office in Karachi, that was in 90s basically, and we are right on Shara Faisal in Karachi, in Kashif Center, 7th floor. A lot of people ask me when they contact me directly in Toronto, so, do you have any representative in Karachi or in Pakistan in general? And I tell them that there is an office and it is into existence since 1991, and then I find them pretty happy, right? So I think it's always a good idea to have local support. People can always get in touch with us directly, and I am happy to speak to them. But and with the advent of the virus, of course, people are contacted, even the Karachi office, via uh, online appointments and everything, because of course we need to make sure that people are safe. But it's always a good idea, and it's been a pleasure being in that part of the world for the last so many years. And with these online meetings that we hold every week, people are coming to know that we have a very strong presence in your market too.
That's true. That's true. And that is one of the reason we that also gives the very clear message to at the public at large, that we are, no matter what, we are here to serve the people. We are here to serve them, uh, to make their goals happen ultimately, and obviously serving for the country like Canada, obviously. So we they are really, they must be happy in that terms too.
Okay, so thank you for being with us today, Khwaja Saab. We would include few of the questions, and then
Sure.
we'll conclude with some more updates. We have updates regarding the initiative IRCC has taken to speed up spousal application. We also know that IRCC is gradually opening its offices within Canada, and the visa application centers all around the world are opening slowly but gradually. They have also introduced the support for greater family reunification and entry for compassionate reasons. And I talked about the increase of points in express entry as well for French speaking and bilingual candidates. So we're going to discuss those toward the end of the discussion. Let's take a few of the questions that we are receiving. The very first question, um, in fact, it's not a question, it's just a greeting. Akbar Ali. Hello, Akbar Ali. Thanks for being with us today. Um, Naeem Abbas, he's asking, please advise me regarding PNP options. My CRS is 442 and NOC 1111. So, Naeem, we can definitely, assist you in determining the best course of action for you in terms of identifying the best PNP program, so that you don't end up wasting time on programs that might not be suitable or where you don't qualify. So I would suggest that if you are in Pakistan, get in touch with Khwaja Numan Ahmed, and he'll be happy to assist you with your PNP program. I would also suggest that you complete our assessment form. Although I see that you are a well informed client who knows his CRS and his NOC code as well, and you're looking for specific help, we would be happy to provide that specific help, even if it is in the form of a consultation only, because sometimes you don't really need full assistance. You might want to have a professional opinion only, and we'll be happy to set aside our professional time for that purpose. And if that satisfies your need, that should be about it, and you can go ahead and deal with the immigration matter on your own. But if you need further assistance, of course, we'll be happy to do that as well. Let's take another question from Hussein, saying, I hope you're fine. Yes, we are fine. Hope you're doing good as well. The question is, working with the American Afghanistan from Afghanistan, how can I go to Canada if I already apply for SIV, special immigration visa for USA, but I don't want to go to USA? And we are not dealing in any of the visa category you are looking for. Canada doesn't have any special category for, I think you're looking for something that takes into account a personal circumstances. Someone working with a particular organization might have a little bit of concern about their safety or anything. So we don't deal in those areas. But of course, if you are qualifying in one of these skilled worker or business categories, we'll be happy to assist you with that. Okay. There is a question from Azhar, and bring in Khwaja Numan Saab to respond to that. He says, will IELTS of spouse help in score?
Azhar, yes, it will helps in increasing your score, but make keep in mind that it is not mandatory that a spouse needs to do IELTS or need to have the degree evaluation part done. Let's meet up. Let's have a consultation one to one, and we can discuss the ways where you can avoid that and still gain good score.
Okay, wonderful. Let me bring in one more question from Asif Iqbal. It says, please let me know which province has lowest CRS points to apply for express entry.
Well, this is $1 million question, to be very honest.
Yeah.
There are lots of provinces there who been going downwards in terms of CRS score. Especially, I would like to name Alberta as one of them. But obviously, it also matters that which occupation you belongs to, and the demand in that particular occupation is lies in that province too. So we need to evaluate and see which occupation going to pick, and obviously we can have a detailed analysis on that, and then we'll able to guide you which option or which province is suitable for you. So let's meet and discuss. Either it is digitally or it is physically. We are available.
Okay, let me add something here, because people, when they ask how can I apply for express entry, and I need to tell them that express entry is not a program that you apply for. You submit an application through a system, a file management system, that is named express entry. Under this file management system, we have three programs: the Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Trade Program, and Canada Experience Class Program. And then provinces also have their bit, where they nominate applicants, and then you get 600 extra points in your express entry comprehensive ranking score. So it is actually putting the horse in front of the cart. When we say how can I apply for express entry, rather than this, you should be perhaps looking for the comprehensive approach that Khwaja Saab has just mentioned, which is to create your express entry profile and then approach provinces where you are qualifying, because it's not only the CRS, it is also other factors. And we can see that in express entry profile, when you create your express entry profile, of course you have to nominate one principal or main occupation, but there is no occupation list as such. The Canadian government removed that occupation list from January 2015, when they introduced the express entry file management system for Federal Skilled Worker Program. But provinces are still focused on the occupations, the professions, and likely so because they are participating, because they want to bring in people who could contribute to their economy. And that is why every region has a different requirement. It's a very big country, very vast country. It has different geographical region. I live in Ontario for the past several years, and I don't find myself embarrassed to say that I have not been able to cover the province itself. It's such a big province. It is actually bigger than a lot of countries in the world. So if you talk about the whole wide Canada, it has different regions, and every region has its own occupational requirement, labor market needs, and that is why provinces would select only those who would be who would who they think that would contribute to the economy of the province to the best. Okay, let's take another question from Mr. Chowdhry. Which PNP investor program is most easiest with less requirements? Okay, when people ask which one is the easiest with less requirement, then if programs were designed with the view that they should be easy and they may have less requirements, Canada would have been a very populated country, because people would have been qualifying, they would have been coming. Canadian government and the provinces, they are very choosy when it comes to selecting business immigrants. What they do is, and there are a lot of competition as well. What they do is they want to ensure that the person who's applying for provincial program for business, the person needs to have very sophisticated business acumen, business management skills. They need to have proper net worth, and the net worth requirement, of course, vary. When a client approach us, we make a very detailed assessment and we arrange a detailed consultation with them rather than just telling them that yes, you do qualify. When you dig deeper, you find that there are a lot of lacking in terms of business documents, tax documents, net worth, declarations and everything. It is very important that you first make an assessment. And if you're approaching us, we're going to do that free of cost for you. You can complete our business assessment form. And then once that has been done, we highly recommend that you get in touch with us with one-on-one consultation. Might cost you, $100 or $200, which is also refundable, but it is worth the money, because you are basically saying that I'm willing to invest $200,000 to $300,000. So from that point of view, maybe going for a professional consultation would make a lot of sense, especially when that very small amount of money is refundable. I would recommend that you get in touch with our team if you're serious about going ahead with your plan to apply for a business immigration. First step, submit your assessment form. Second step, get in touch for a one-to-one consultation. Okay, so there is a question from Azerbaijan. I'm going to bring Khwaja Numan for that. How are Pakistani degrees assessed and or approved by Canadian system?
A Canadian system has has designated different bodies in Canada who's going to designate the foreign credentials. So every education system has their mechanism of verification in their own country. So specifically, if we talk about Pakistan, they have a attestation system and mechanism like the Higher Education Commission is in place to attest and verify the attestation process. So they assess the degrees, and then obviously they need to be submitted to the Canadian authorities, and then they're gonna evaluate as per in terms of in view of the current the available system they have. They compare it with the Canadian education system, and then they give you an assessment in terms of an educational credential assessment report. And that report that helps you in gaining in actually claiming your educational points in this program. So this is how the system works here.
Right. So there is another question he's asking, and he's saying, do we have to do this ourselves beforehand, or they tell us to do it? What is the process? Okay, so as I indicated earlier, that there are a few documents that you require beforehand, and educational credential assessment is one of those. You need to get your ECA beforehand, of course, before creating your express entry profile, just like you need your IELTS score. And there are guidelines available online. If you are one of our clients, we would be, of course, happy to provide you personal guideline on that. Sometimes we are also able to assist people in their other administrative tasks. Our staff could help you in dealing with the HEC, for example, Higher Education Commission, having your attestations done. So do get in touch with our local office or our office directly in Toronto, and we'll be happy to assist. Okay. Okay, so there is this question from Rafe. He says, I have to do my top up year from UK. What will be the possibility of doing it from Canada? So Rafe, we don't really have any information on that. You can get in touch with the universities and institutes. If they are allowing you to continue the rest of your degree in Canada, that of course you can do that, and you can apply for a student visa. And if you need any assistance in applying for a student visa, we'll be happy to assist. Okay, Rafe is saying we would also like to have a consultation session with you for family immigration. You can always do that, Rafe. We have a link given on our website for booking a consultation. You need to click on that book a consultation link and provide your information. select an available slot, and you can have a one-on-one consultation with me directly, and we'll be happy to assist you with that. Otherwise, if you're looking for free assessment, you can complete one of our free assessment forms, skill worker or business or visit or student, and we'll be happy to make a free assessment as a first step. Otherwise, you can go directly for a consultation, and we'll be happy to set aside our professional time for yourself. Okay. Zunair is asking how much CRS score could go up or down in 2021, and how much time the process could take if you apply for express entry in December 2020. So we don't really have any idea as to how much it would go up or down, because it all depends on the composition of the express entry pool, and it keeps on changing. It's very dynamic. We can see that with the increase of the slots available for 2021, 22, 23, we can expect that with more people required, it might go down. But at the same time, provinces are also very active. So when you see a score of 470, many of those people do have the PNP nomination as well, and they get 600 points out of that. So it really is something that you need to you would know once we are at that point in time in future. We can't predict that, but the indication is that it might slide down, and it would become easier for people to qualify if Canada needs to get in more people. How much time would it take? We know that the processing time is 6 months after someone receives an invitation to apply and they submit their application for permanent residence. I'm going to bring in Khwaja Naman Saab for a very important question from Rahila Damani. She says, is early childhood education included in the occupation list? So just to start, there is no occupation list for federal skilled worker programs. When you create your profile, of course, you're in the pool and you can be selected by the federal government directly. So the occupation is not in question. But in terms of the provinces, there are different provinces with different occupational needs. I would bring in Khwaja Naman to answer that.
Yeah, especially in this early childhood education, there is a possibility, a very high possibility of selection in few of the provinces. However, we need to see and evaluate your early childhood experience lies in the last 10 years period, especially in the last 5 years period. So we need to look in detail in that perspective. So then only we will make an assessment in detail about it and see whether in which province you stand a chance. But that's for sure, it just stands a chance, and we can have the evaluation done first as a first step, and then we'll able to guide you detail.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for the answer. Let's take another question from Asma Masood. She says, if we have applied for express entry and PNP at the same time and get invited by the PNP, first, does that mean that the express entry route is then closed, so we have to go to the province and not, for example, Toronto? Okay, so what I understand is that you are also perhaps have a little bit of confusion between express entry and provincial program. Express entry is not a program. You have to be an express entry pool in order to be selected by a province. There are some provinces, though, that do not require you to create an express entry profile. You can apply directly as well. But at the end of the day, immigration visa would be issued by way of express entry. Yes, those provinces that do not require you to create an express entry profile, you might be able to submit a paper application to them. But most of the provinces are aligned with express entry system. So if you have applied to express entry, and you basically are trying to say that you have created an express entry profile. You didn't apply for express entry. You created an express entry profile. And once you have created it, your profile is available for federal skilled worker program. Now, the next step would be that you approach provinces. As I advised earlier, some of the provinces do not require you to approach them, Alberta and Ontario as example, or Nova Scotia. And they can also select you directly from the pool if you have given your consent to these provinces when you create your express entry profile. But other provinces, you need to perhaps go ahead and create expression of interest profile with them. And when you do that, you go in the possibility of getting selected by these provinces, and you get 600 extra points where in your express entry profile, right? So it's not that these are not two mutually exclusive things, that express entry is different or PNP is different. They are both all the way same because they are all interconnected. You have to submit your then you need to submit your application for permanent residence. Once you get those 600 points, you still don't get immigration because these are only 600 points added, but the likelihood of getting an invitation to apply for permanent residence, of course, goes through the roof because you have lots of points. You can expect yourself to be selected in the next draw. So I hope I've been able to answer the question, but I would recommend that you get in touch with us if you are looking for professional advice. We've been in the business since 1991, properly authorized and licensed by the Government of Canada, and we have assisted thousands of people. So we'll be happy to assist you as well. We are very confident about that. So let's get in touch. Okay. Zia Liaquat Sahutra is saying he's from Malta. He has an MBA from Pakistan, full-time accountant in Malta. Experience is 2.5 years, MSc in progress from Malta. He also has 4 years experience in a financial company in Pakistan. Wife is MD medicine from Cuba, Pakistani national. They live in Malta. She has 3 years experience in Pakistan. They are more concerned about IELTS, and we need both of they both need to appear in IELTS, basically. Age is 35 and 32. So yeah, it looks like a very, very good case. And I think, let me just adjust this. Okay. So it is a very, very good case. And since you have, you've indicated that you have an MBA, and you're also completing an MSc in Malta, hopefully you're going to be able to complete that. So it's going to improve your education score. You have 4 years of experience in financial company. Wife is also a doctor, so it's a very good case. I would recommend that you go ahead with your IELTS. Don't be concerned. Go ahead with your IELTS. See what you get in terms of bands, and even if you happen to score something lower or not up to the real standard that you have in your language skills, I would still say that it is worth taking the chance and being in the pool, because you might get a shot at one of the provincial program. I'd ask Naman Saab for his comments on this particular comment.
Yes, Amr Sahib, you're very right on that part. He should. I also encourage him to be be in the pool at least, so that he may hold of a selection from any of the province as well. If obviously the IELTS doesn't come up to the mark which he's expecting, but I'm sure a little bit effort of 15-25 days into an IELTS would result better, obviously.
Okay, that's good. Let's see if we have more questions, and rest assured we're gonna be able to attend to all of those. It is very late at the end of Khwaja Saab. He is still in the office, and I'm thankful for his dedication that he's making himself available. But regardless, even if you don't have a webinar, he's always in the office this late because we are in the kind of a business where people
Yeah.
usually tend to, or they prefer to contact us after their office hours. So it's always a good idea to be available in the office, and he does make all the efforts to make himself available. Let's take another question from Salman Malik. He's a chemical engineer. Experience is in health and safety officer. So another question, safety officer. So the experience acceptable in express entry. So we told you before as well that you need to mark your occupation correctly. You need to choose your occupation correctly, and people make a lot of mistakes. This was the topic in our last discussion as well, that people make mistakes in terms of selecting their occupation. And sometimes they just look at the title of the occupation. They don't give any attention to the job description and job duties, and they end up selecting wrong occupation. So mismatch in occupation and educational qualification is normal, as long as the occupation is not a regulated one. So I gave an example last time as well, that if you are applying as a doctor, you're expected to have an MBBS degree. But differences such as these do happen, but you need to make sure that you explain it in a proper way, and convince the visa officer that although you have mismatch in your qualification and work experience, you are still able to compete in the Canadian labor market. So that is fine. Let's see if we could attend to a few more questions in the time that we have left with. Usually our sessions are 1 hour long, but it's already 42 minutes. So let's see if we can accommodate more people in that time. Okay, so Zunair is asking, please mention the time duration of the process from registration to ITA. There is no, we can't, basically. It's the simple answer is we can't um, predict the time duration of the process from registration to ITA. We don't know, because it can happen the very next day. It might not happen the entire year, and your profile gets expired. So be prepared for it. No one can predict that. But yes, we know after the ITA, 6 months is the processing time. Okay, so let's take another one. Azhar is again asking, is there a certain IELTS score that makes our application look better in the pool? There is no target, basically, because 6 bands is the target to enter the pool. But yes, the better score you have, the more are your chances, because IELTS or English is one of the factors in the grid. Age, education, work experience are others, and there are more as well. So I would recommend that anyone who's applying, of course, IELTS makes a big difference. It is the major player in terms of ranking points calculation. But I would suggest that anyone who's applying, they need to prepare, and they need to target the highest, because if I say 7 would be okay for you, you might end up scoring 6. So I would say 9 is the minimum you need. So when you target 9, you at least end up getting 7. So I wish you best of luck on that. We'll get more questions. I can see there are lots of questions that might need the assistance of Khaja Noman, because I think some of these are very particularly focused on the area he deals in. Okay. There's this question about my 2 brothers are in Canada and have nationality. Is it easy for me to go, or can they sponsor me? I'm 37 years old. So I'll ask Khaja Saab to please have his views on it.
Yeah. Let me just clarify one thing. Obviously, they cannot sponsor you in that terms. The like the way the spousal sponsorship and the parental sponsorship, like that. But they can support you in terms of gaining additional points in your profile. So yes, it will be a plus factor, especially if we. I can observe your age is 37, so perhaps you will be a most suitable candidate for PNP. And if your relatives are specifically based in Saskatchewan or Manitoba, perhaps you would be a very good candidate. And we hope that you will be able to succeed immediately right after we make you the part of the pool. So I believe, but again, we need to evaluate in detail. Once you fill our assessment form, we'll evaluate you, and then we'll able to guide you which province suits to you to your best.
Okay, wonderful. There is a question coming in, and Moni is asking how much you charge. Okay, so I don't know which category you are talking about, because we deal in several categories: skilled workers, and then we have provincial nomination, several programs. What we do is we make an assessment, free assessment first, as the first step, to let you know whether you qualify or not. If you do qualify, we need to determine as to which category you are in, what is the size of your family, how much work do we need to do, and then we provide you a quotation. But before that, when we provide you a free assessment, we give you a range of our consulting fee. So you would know that how much would you be paying us. And once we have the assessment done and we have our consultation completed, then we also give you a well calculated quote according to the program you have selected. So hopefully, if you are found successful, if you're qualifying, our team will be able to provide you a written quotation as the way we are required to do so as licensed immigration advisors. Another question: 2 years BSc plus 2 years of MSc degree acceptable in Canada? So I don't know if your question is about the acceptability of the degrees. Of course, these are acceptable. You need to find out if these would be assessed by the assessment bodies in Canada. Some of the institutes are not recognized by their local regulatory bodies. If your institute is one of those, or your institute is one of those that are not recognized by one of the 5 assessment bodies in Canada, you would not get any points for your educational qualification. Okay. There's a question Rabi is asking. She applied for Canada in 2010, but they rejected her brother. They rejected her application. Her brother is Canadian immigrant, and her husband is a civil engineer. So once again, I believe I would bring in Khwaja Naman, but I think his answer would be the same, that you need to go ahead with the assessment so as to see whether you are qualifying. 2010 2020, there has been a 10 years gap, so we need to see whether you still qualify under the program. What is your take on it, Khwaja sir?
Yeah, we need to see the whole thing. Obviously, first of all, we need to see the rejection reason, obviously. So, if the rejection reasons is something related to misrepresentation or something like that, so that may impact his another application. So, we need to evaluate the profile. I would suggest that you should book a one-to-one consultation, so that along with the refusal letter, of course, so that we can see and analyze again.
Okay, so I'll try to wrap up things a little quickly. And I see there are a lot of people online with us today, and seems to be Saturday perhaps is a better day uh, for us to do these consultations, because people do have some time to spare. So I think that's why the interest is on the highest. Okay, Azam is saying he is 45. He has done his ECA in 2020, results as 4 years bachelor's degree. NOC is this. What are my options in PNP? So, Azam, I think if you had contacted us, we would have actually advised you to look at your eligibility as a first step, rather than going ahead with your ECA, because ECA costs money. IELTS costs money, right? If you are 45, we need to see whether you would be, in fact, able to get your 67 points or not. There are other factors that help you in getting to those 67 points, for example, wife's education or presence of a relative in Canada. But you really need to be very careful. There are a lot of people who make their own assessment, or they contact the local unlicensed agents in Pakistan or in India, and they are misguided, that they charge some money and they ask people to go for their ECA and they go for their IELTS, and then at the end of the day they end up not making even 67 points to enter the pool. So be wary of that. I think that's a very, very weak case, 45 years of age, and having done your ECA and everything. So of course that has already been done. Nothing can be done about that, but you can still find out on the CRS tool as to where do you stand in terms of ranking points. But before you do that, you need to see whether you are making 67 points or not. If you're not making 67 points, it doesn't matter how many ranking points you have. You can't enter the pool, and you would not be considered. So be careful about that. Okay. So Mariam is asking what package you have for students. As students are on low income, and how long it will take to call wife and child if one is on a student visa. What are chances of acceptance? Now, Mariam, I understand students have a limited financial capacity, and most of them are financed by their parents. But it also means that the parents should have money if students don't have money. Canadian education is very expensive as compared to education available in your home country. The tuition fee is, of course, very expensive. Although, if you compare Canadian tuition fee with other first world country tuition fees like USA or UK, Canadian tuition fees are lower. The cost of living is also lower. But if you convert those dollars that you need to finance your studies, you can't be low income. If you're low income, you can't afford to study in Canada. It's very simple. Canadian institutes are best, one of few of the best institutes in the world. They provide very good credentials, good opportunity to learn, and also a pathway to permanent residence. But they also charge money toward their tuition fee. So perhaps instead of asking your consultant what package do they have, and be concerned about their fee that they perhaps are charging $2,000 or maybe $1,000 for their assistance in applying for study permit application, you might have to look at your own finances first to be able to make sure that you are not low income. You have sufficient money to support your studies in Canada, and then only think about it. Otherwise, you will end up applying for admission, getting admission, and then getting a refusal based on the fact that you don't have money to support yourself. Right. So let's go ahead, and I think this I would need Khaja Saab's help. Bahar Ali saying he's a graduate in agriculture. He has 4 years experience in early childhood education. Can you brief about it? That do I have any chance of immigration? So again, a mismatch in education, but I think we can handle it. Well, I'll take Khaja Saab's comment on it.
Yeah, being a graduate in agriculture, again, we need to see the graduate, is it a 2-year qualification? And we need to see, because most of the early childhood educations are not being assessed by the educational institutions. So we need to see, even if you're a graduate in agriculture and you have some certification or course, 1-year course done under the field of early childhood education, then still we can make an assessment and see whether your chances are there for an immigration. But if that is not the case, then perhaps the chances would be low. But let's fill our assessment form, and then we can evaluate in detail and guide you about it.
Yeah, so I would perhaps add a little bit more that for the purpose of federal skilled worker program, it might still be okay to not have the specific childhood education, but for provincial program for sure. And from the look of it, maybe you are better off applying for a provincial program, because maybe your degree, even if it is a 4 years degree, you might end up scoring less ranking score, and applying for a provincial program would perhaps require you to have specific education in your field. Even if it is certification, I think it should still be okay. Okay, Rahila is saying, can you share your free assessment form? Yes, Rahila, our website is www.amirsmile.com. The form is available. The button right at the top of our website, free assessment. You can log in. The specific URL is amirsmile.com/assessment. And it has all the assessment form for skilled worker, business, sponsorship, visitor, and student. So you can access that. Otherwise, just feel free to send us a message on WhatsApp, 001-647-835-0660, and our team would respond to you, or just leave a comment on any of our social media platform. We'll be happy to attend to those. Okay, so Ahmad is asking, which is the best province for student to get PR easily? Now, Ahmad, we know that when someone graduates from a Canadian institute, they have the option of staying in Canada on a postgraduate work permit and work their way through to permanent residence through the Canada Experience Class. That's the federal program. But there are international graduate program in virtually every province. So I think whichever province you choose, you should be having lots of option, not only through a provincial nomination for international graduation, but also the Canada Experience Class. Or if you already have work experience, a lot of people, they don't really have to wait for 1 year to complete their experience in Canada on a postgraduate work permit to qualify under Canada Experience Class. They basically qualify for the federal skilled worker program because they already had work experience, and then with the addition of 30 points for Canadian education, their CRS score increase and they can qualify. So we'll be able to provide a very accurate opinion about your matter and set aside time for you. Feel free to complete our assessment form and we'll get back to you on that. Okay. Zara is saying, how many IELTS bands are required in Canadian immigration? The minimum is 6 to enter the pool, but usually 6 is not sufficient. You have to try your best and score as good as you could. and see how it goes. Another question that I would need assistance of Khwaja Naman is from Nabil, saying his age is 36 and he has more than 10 years of experience and has 16 years of education. He has done BE in electronics engineering and has experience in this field. So I'll bring Khwaja Naman in this, and he would be able to answer it.
Yes, Nabil, you do qualify for provincial nomination programs, and the profile that you have with the BE and the similar kind of experience, you stand a chance, but still, you need to try your best, enroll yourself for IELTS initially, and have the degree evaluation done parallel and be the part of the pool, because that's what I personally encourage you to become a part of the pool, especially considering the new quotas, the bigger quotas that we are expecting in 2021. Provincial allocation would be a good one, expectedly.
Okay, thanks for this answer. I'll take another question from Sunita. She's saying she is from Pakistan, and she was rejected for non-SDS and study permit, non-SDS study permit this year. Can she apply for SDS next year? What are the chances of getting visa? Now, SDS is, of course, one of the facility that has been extended to few of the countries, nationals of few of the countries. Pakistan is one of those, and if you are from Pakistan, otherwise there are other countries as well, India and other, Vietnam and others, Nigeria. So SDS is a good option for reapplying, because when you get your student visa refusal, you have the choice of either appealing that decision at the Federal Court of Canada or reapplying. And when you reapply, you have to disabuse the concerns of the officer that led to that refusal. So whenever you reapply, you still have the option of applying as a non-SDS, but in SDS you might have seen that they have brought in measures which assist the visa officer in determining whether the applicant is a genuine student or not. Things like, you going for your IELTS test and getting the required bands is mandatorily required. You need to pay 1 year fee as well in advance. You also need to buy GICs, the government certificates, for $10,000. So these are the things that shows that you are committed, you are a genuine student. Although, of course, it is still not guaranteed that you will be issued the visa. Especially, it becomes even more difficult to overcome a refusal if you already have one. What the approach we adopt is that we approach the visa officer and figure out as to what were the exact reason. You must have been issued a refusal letter, but we still would like to see what is there in their files to determine the reasons and try to disabuse those concerns in the new application. And SDS would be the way to go if you do meet the requirements. Okay, so let's take another question. Rashid is saying, can I take my spouse with me by applying through SDS master's program? Please explain it. How do you deal in SDS? So yes, Rashid, we are authorized by the Government of Canada to represent your application. We've been doing it since 1991. We'll be happy to do that for you as well. And the answer, of course, I know the answer, but I'll bring Khwaja Naman's input on the matter of applying with the spouse, and he'll be happy to respond to you.
Yes, Rashid, yes, you can apply along with your spouse, because when you apply for a study permit, your spouse can simultaneously apply with you on an open work permit. So, yes, there is a possibility, but for that, there is a certain amount of financial addition into the financial requirement when you apply for a study visa. Of course, as Amir Saab indicated earlier, in terms of the mandatory requirements when you apply for a student direct stream program, which includes GIC, which includes IELTS 6 or 6.0 bands minimum in each of the component, and simultaneously you need to pay a tuition fee along for at least a year's period of your studies. So yes, the answer of that question that you asked, yes, you can take your spouse, and this will be the method. And for sure, we can have the evaluation done, and we'll assist you in that for sure.
Okay, wonderful. Question from Ali Raza Malik, how much investment is required for business investment visa? So for to apply for business programs, you need to have um, proven business management or business ownership experience. You need to have documentation to prove that. You need to also have a certain amount of net worth, usually range from 400,000 to somewhere around $1.2 million, depending on the program you choose. And you also, of course, need to provide your intentions of establishing the business. And the minimum amount required in most of the program is $200,000, but it can increase according to the program you choose. For example, in Ontario, we have a program which requires you to invest $600,000 in your business if you are establishing the business in the Greater Toronto area, but outside the Greater Toronto area, the investment could be reduced to $200,000. So I would say that if you are interested in exploring your options, you can complete our business assessment form, and then after that, arrange a one-to-one consultation with us, a professional consultation with us to determine whether you qualify in one of the business program. Another question coming from Hassan: is 2+2 degree acceptable for masters in Canada? So 2+2 would mean that you have 16 years of education, and the credential you got is called masters in your home country. It might not equate to a Canadian masters, but it really depends, because some of the assessment bodies do evaluate even a 2+2 degree as a master's degree. I'd have Khwaja Namaz's input in it, because he specializes in the area of assessments for credential assessments. And let's have his take. What does he have to say about it?
Hassan, 2+2, which is equivalent to a 16 years of education, which I believe, most likely none of the assessing body might not evaluate it equivalent to masters. But there are ways that there are such bodies where we can guide you how you're gonna opt your assessment strategically in a way so that you can gain maximum result out of it. So it's not like you have done 2 years plus 2 years degree and you are not able to gain or maximize your output out of those. You still can, but we'll tell you the assessing bodies which you're gonna opt so that you can gain maximum points in the education factor.
Okay, wonderful. Let's have Mega Khan's question. She's a 34, single mom doing her business in Karachi. She's a master's degree holder, experience SPMU artist. So Mega, I think we'll have to look at your profile. Sometimes people start their businesses, but they do have work experience as well in past. So we'll look at your CV, your details, and we'll determine whether you qualify in applying as an entrepreneur in Canada or as a skilled worker. You might still qualify, as I said, for skilled worker, even though you are operating the business. It really depends on the specific of the case. You do have a master's degree and you're still young, so most probably you might qualify in more than one program. If you have established business and if you're not qualifying in the skilled worker program, we'll see whether you have the required net worth, if you have the required business management experience, you have documentation to prove that, and you have the intentions of establishing the business. Then we can, of course, give you a final answer on that. But it looks like a very good case, good education, good experience as well. So let's see. We'll talk about it once we have your details. Okay. Ramila is saying she's in Karachi. Are there any express entry changes and Alberta PNP charges? So you can get in touch with our team, because maybe we'll have to make an assessment and provide you a quotation of our fee. We'll be happy to do that whenever you complete our assessment form, Ramila. Okay. Some big questions actually taking up the entire screen. So I'd ask Khwaja Numan to kindly read out for me this and answer it as well.
Yeah, so it says which provinces are accepting EOIs without job offers?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry,
read it.
without job offer. and connections other than Saskatchewan and PEI. My and my spouse brief profile is appended. Spouse age is 39, CLB 8 is done, NOC 4011. Education 18 years, ECA done, dental surgery specialist, experience more than 9 years, CRS 369. Yours is age 44, CLB 8, NOC 0122. Education masters, ECA done, banking experience. So, perhaps here we still see hope into this because of the age factor. I see that it's 44 of yours. So I still see a chance in one of the province like Saskatchewan where banking categories are in demand. So we can look into it in detail, and I'm sure you must have you are already a well-informed client because you have shared your CRS already, and you must be known about the Saskatchewan. So as you shared in this last line that age 5 and 3 years old children with an EOI in Saskatchewan and PEI done. So I think you should wait for the selection in expectedly in Saskatchewan. We have seen in the last few months the selection thresholds has been reduced to around 68 points there in Saskatchewan. So I think just relax, be patient. You have done most of the work already. So let's hope for the best and still remain hopeful.
Okay, great. Let's take another question here, and it is from Khizr Rizvi. I'll just perhaps change the size so that everyone can see that. Does HR qualify for express entry or PNP? I have WS US equivalency. Is that acceptable for Canadian immigration? So, Khizr, first of all, again, express entry is not an immigration program. It is only a file management system. You have to go in there to be able to apply for PNP or federal skilled worker program. And HR, of course, with an HR qualification, you'll be able to create your express entry profile and then hope for a selection by the federal government or the provincial government. And the approach should be that you need to explore all the options available. We'll be happy to explore these for you, and we do the legwork for you if you get in touch with our team. In terms of WES US, you need to have the Canadian one, specifically for the federal skilled worker program application. I need to have an input from Khwaja Naman on this because I understand the WES Canada has its own FSWP assessment for the purpose of immigration. So the WES US might not be suitable for you. Let's have his input.
Yes, Khizr, WES Canada equivalency is required in this case, and perhaps you have to go again for this evaluation. Perhaps a little bit of reduction in the paperwork that you have done already would help you for sure. But yes, you need to go for WES Canada.
Okay, great. So let's have another question, which is from Zunair again. I'm able to qualify for SW. My age is 27, 16 years of education, having 7 software engineer. Seems to be a very good case, Zunair. Go ahead with our assessment and also go ahead with our consultation option. We'll be happy to set aside time and deal with you on one-to-one basis, and it will be worth it. It's a big decision you're taking, so let's take it in a very concise and focused manner. And if you're involving us, rest assured that we're going to give you proper advice and you'll be an informed client, basically. Okay. Kamran Mirza is saying, can a person working on senior level in an organization more than 17 years tries to get semi-skilled visa permit? Can he get it, basically? So if you're talking about the work permit, I'm sorry, we are not privy to that. We don't deal in work permits. If you're talking about getting a job offer from Canada, we don't really know anything about it. So we're sorry. But if you are interested in skilled worker immigration, do get in touch with us. We'll be happy to assist you. Rashid Mir is asking the same question about our charges. So we do quote our fee after the free assessment and the consultation that follows after that. We do provide a range of our fee when someone completes our form, so you'll know what would be the range, but the specific quotation would be provided to you once you complete the assessment form. Okay. Azhar is saying, if we want to consult you, is it a better option that um, is it better to do IELTS and get our degrees assessed? Okay, so Azhar, most of our clients, when they get in touch with us, they haven't done their IELTS or haven't completed their ECA. They arrange a consultation to get the overview of the program, the choice of the program, and the basic strategy to follow. They usually do their IELTS and their EC afterwards. So if you are at that stage, I believe you should go ahead with the consultation, and you can complete your IELTS and EC afterward. But there are several people who do get in touch with us after they have completed everything, and then they want a proper authorized licensed advisor, experienced one, to represent their application. So either way, it's your choice. But I think you can get in touch with our team even if you have not done your IELTS or ECA. The assessment that we carry out is also mostly based on whatever you assume in terms of your IELTS score and your educational level. So there's no issue with that. Okay, so let's take a few more questions. I understand it's beyond time, like, we are already 1 hour, 12 minutes, but questions keep pouring in, and I hate to leave you guys before I attend to most of those. Mujahid Khan is asking, he has completed his BS Telecom in a degree in 6 years in 2017. I've been working in telecom company since 2018 as core network engineer. He has 6.5 score. Which program is better for me? Again, Mujahid, I would ask you to get in touch with our team by completing our assessment form. We'll let you know which program qualifies. It's from the face of it, it looks like that you might qualify in one of the PNP programs because you have low IELTS score, but we can be specific about the choice of the program once you complete the form. Ghulam Nabi is saying, for pharmacy, ECA is required to appear in test after ECA, or we can attend test once we come to Canada for license. So yeah, you don't have to go for the licensing exam at the time of creating your profile or even getting your immigration. Just ECA is sufficient. Once you are in Canada, and if you wish to pursue your career as a pharmacist, you will require a license at that point in time. So you don't have to worry about it at this point in time. Another question is from Danish. He's an electronics engineer, 6 years experience in Gulf. So is he eligible for any immigration program? Looks like a good case. I'll bring Khwaja Naman to answer that, please.
Yeah, exactly. If you're an electronics engineer with 6 years of experience in Gulf, so yes, you are a good candidate. You should be thinking of writing an IELTS exam and proceeding with your immigration thing for sure. It seems to be a good case, but we also need to consider your age thing as well into this, and then we can give you a proper exact evaluation into this.
Okay. Mega is saying, how to know which category we fall in terms of assessment. So even if you complete our skilled worker assessment form, even if you're a business person, filling out skilled worker assessment form would allow us to assess you in both the programs. So go ahead and complete the skill worker assessment form, and we will have an idea. If we will require further information from you in terms of your business, we'll ask you. Okay, so just complete one of those. Now, Asma is saying, my first cousin, Chacha's son, is living in Canada for last 3 years or more and has a British passport. Will it increase my ranking points? So I think I'll ask Khwaja Naman to respond to this question.
Yeah, Asma, it depends in which province he lives. If he is living in the province like Saskatchewan, perhaps where first cousin can be considered as your relative, and then obviously it will gives you a boost in your profile ranking and points, and you could be a good candidate. So let's have the evaluation first. Fill our assessment form. We'll evaluate you in both the terms, and then we'll able to guide you the which way to. But do mention your relatives like first cousin and the province while you're filling out your assessment form, so that we know and we can evaluate it accordingly.
Perfect. Okay, so let's take another question from Aruha. She says, my spouse and I want to consult you. He is going to be the main applicant. He is 26 years of age. He is a software engineer with around 4 years experience as Android developer. Is it better for him to do IELTS and then go get your degrees assessed before we consult you and get the process started? We really want to start the application as soon as possible. So Aruha, I would ask you to complete our assessment form, both you and your spouse. He will be the main applicant, but your details would also be required in that assessment form. You don't have to go for IELTS before you complete the assessment form. You can put in your expected IELTS score. From the look of it, the way you have written, it seems that you are fluent in English, and I'm expecting that your spouse is also fluent in English. So you can mark your expected band score in the assessment form accordingly. We'll make an assessment within 2 business days, let you know whether you are meeting the requirements, and we also will give you the option of going for a one-on-one consultation with us, and we'll take it from there. Okay, hope that answers the question. Okay, so someone very dear to me is online with us, Engineer Kareem Virani. Kareem is asking, what should he do? He waited for 471. Now IELTS is expiring, and the score dropped down to 469. So yes, Kareem, I think you need to, of course, go for new IELTS, and hopefully that you or your spouse, whomsoever is the principal applicant, will be able to get the required band score once again. I'm pretty confident about it that you're going to do that once again, and then be in the pool. Applying for immigration is sort of I would say, a struggle for a lot of people, but those who are determined, they make it through. So these small mishaps happen all the time. I remember the time when I started my immigration practice several years ago, and I remember that it used to take 6-7 years for some people to immigrate to Canada at that point in time. But now the processing time has been reduced to only 6 months. It's only the lead time that makes people frustrated. So the lead time sometimes, of course, is affected by the fact that your IELTS expire during the course of the wait. I would say that do your IELTS as soon as possible, be back in the pool, and hopefully you're going to get your ITA once again. Okay. Let's take another question, and then we'll conclude it, hopefully. Okay. Zia is saying, please guide one-on-one consultation process with you, Amir Saab. Is it chargeable, and availability? Should we start next year or wait after having an MSc degree from Malta, 2022, roughly? Fear of age then, but again, experience from Malta. Yes, yeah, I think you can go ahead with the consultation at this point in time, because you might want to strategize. You might want to decide, when should you be in the pool? Should you be in the pool right away, or should you wait? I would always suggest to be in the pool no matter what, because we can perhaps explore the PNP options while we are waiting for your MSc. And yes, the consultations are chargeable, but the fee is very small, and it is also refundable once the client starts the process. But the assessment is totally free of charge. So if you don't go with the consultation, that's also okay. You can at least get your assessment done free of cost. Complete our assessment form. We'll be happy to assist you with that. Okay, so I think we have been able to answer most of the questions. I'm actually a little concerned about Khwaja Saab's timing. What time is it at your end, Khwaja Saab?
Yeah, it's 10:20, but it's okay. Our preference is to service the people first.
I really appreciate the dedication, actually, because in most of the world, I see my other colleagues as well. They have their own companies, and mostly they talk about unavailability of the staff after office hours. But yeah, this dedication is appreciable. Okay, so let's take a few more if you're available, Khwaja Sahab.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Salman Malik is asking, he has 4 years bachelor's degree, 29, 3 years experience, occupational health and safety. Brother is living in Canada. Of course, that is an advantage, 15 extra points, right? And what about him? Can he apply in Toronto or any other province which have occupation in demand? So yes, I think it's a very good case. First of all, you need to be in the pool with those added points from your relative. It's going to make a difference, and then we can explore the Ontario PNP program for you because your brother is in Ontario, and we'll let you know where do you stand. I'll ask Khwaja Saab for his response on this as well.
Yes, Salman. Yes, you're having a 4 years bachelor's degree. We need to target your other options as well. Like we can also explore. I would suggest you to explore the options like gaining an additional 1 year diploma would also lead your chances or boost your chances, in fact, in the federal option as well. So look into that option as well. If you have able to gain additional diploma or something, qualification of minimum of 1 year, which is recognized, that will also lead you to the success. I see your age is 29. You still have time. I mean, you should not. I should not be saying that you have time, but still 29 is the age. With having a brother in Canada, you still, the points can be compensated somehow. So better to gain this advantage of gaining additional qualification would lead you to the success for sure.
Okay, that is great. Aroha is asking, if we apply through you, would you represent our application in the pool, or would you help us with the application, which we would do independently? So Aruha, unlike other local agents in the market who are unlicensed, who are not authorized by the government of Canada, what they do is they create express entry profiles for people, but they don't show their names, because if they show their names, first of all, they are not allowed to, and if they do, and if you're found taking the services of a local agent, your application is refused and you are banned for 5 years for misrepresentation. So for us, it's not an issue because we are properly authorized by the government of Canada, and we don't only uh, create the profile and just let the client do it independently. If this was the case, what's the point of involving an immigration consultant and paying them the fee? They should be in a position to represent your application, and that what exactly we do. We represent your express entry profile, your subsequent PR application, and we are throughout the process. And in fact, we are in Canada, so we are here to welcome you as well in our Toronto office. Hope that answers the question. Okay. Omar is saying, what GIC need to secure for SD's program if we are taking spouse with me for masters? So I think the question is related to the GIC for the student. So that is still going to be 10,000. I think it's going to increase, but I need to have Khwaja Saab's take on this.
Yeah, it is still a need to be a 10,000 Canadian dollar that you need to secure. But obviously, in terms of financial, there will be additional uh, two to $3,000 addition of as per the family size will be added to your financial requirement. So obviously, we can have a discussion in detail about it after having a details of your finances, and then we'll discuss in detail.
Okay, great. There is a question from Aruha, and she's saying, can you please let us know the things we need to have before we start our application? I only know of IELTS and ECA. So if you remember, we showed you a slide which indicated the documents you need to create your profile. And if you can see that you need a passport or travel document, language test, educational credential, provincial nomination, and job offer. If you have these two, and if you don't have these two, you can still create your express entry profile. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. We have a few more coming in. Shazia is saying, how are you? Thank you very much. How about yourself, Shazia? Can you tell me these days immigration is doing in these days. My paper are in process. It's more than a year, still waiting. My husband sponsored me. Okay, Shazia, yeah, there has been a lot of concern about the spousal sponsorship process lately, but Canadian government has promised that they're going to expedite the processing. They have increased the number of immigration officers, and I'm sure that you're going to be in Canada very soon. They have promised that they're going to finalize thousands of applications before December 31st, 2020. So I am sure that you will be one of them. So just hang in there, and you will be in Canada soon. Omer is saying, what are the chances of PR in Alberta PNP program for college graduate students in Canada? Yeah, so Omer, we need to look at the college or the territory or province you have graduated in, and we can see if you are a graduate from Alberta, a college based in Alberta, then perhaps you have better chances of consideration. Get in touch with us, and we'll let you know. Okay, so let me scroll through some of the questions that we might be able to answer. Naresh is asking, BCom, MCom, 45 years, wife is 36, she's a master's in political sciences, worked in Pakistan, Dubai, South Africa, 20 years, currently senior person in compliance, commercial banks. What are your charges? Naresh, I would be happy to share the charges, but I would be perhaps more interested in finding out which program you qualify in. With 45 years of age, you have very less chances of being considered under the skilled worker program, but you might qualify under the business program because you're a senior manager. If you are interested in investing in a business in Canada, you might qualify. On the other hand, your wife might also qualify. She's a 36 years old master's degree holder. And if she does have work experience, she can qualify as well. I would recommend that you complete our assessment form, and we would then advise you as to which program you both would be qualifying in, and we'll be happy to then quote you our fees as well. So they're saying Masters of Engineering, 11 years experience in Dubai. Wife is also master's degree holder, chemical engineering with 3 years experience, principal applicant. We are in pool with score 393. Please tell us how we expedite PNP. Yes, Saud, you have done the legwork. You are in the pool. You're available for the provinces. It's the matter of approaching various provinces and be specific about those and your target. I would recommend that you arrange a consultation with us or Khwaja Noman. Since you are in the same time zone, we have the option of arranging or booking a consultation with him or me directly on our website. The link is amirismail.com/book-a-consultation, or there's a button as well for consultation. So I'll be happy to answer that. See, Gerard is 40 years of age, 15 years experience, and he wants to apply. So Gerard, the only lacking in your application, or I would say a disadvantage, is your age factor. So I think PNP could be something that you might want to give consideration to, and we'll be happy to make an assessment and let you know whether you should put your foot forward or not. Now, there is a very important question coming from Faisal Sayed. I filled assessment form last week, still no response. Okay. Now, Faisal, I can guarantee you that our team responds in 2 business days. It's a guarantee coming directly from me. Now, if someone doesn't find the assessment response in their inbox, they should check their spam or junk folder. You will definitely find our response there. Please do that. And if you still don't find it, please write back to me on info@amirismail.com. We are going to look into it, but I can guarantee you that I personally send it to each one of the persons who completes the assessment form. And we also ask people to go for consultation, right? In that response, we then send a follow-up as well after a week or so. And these are done regularly, and we stick to it religiously. Okay, so just find out the response, and you'll find it. I can assure you. Okay, so I think we are just closer to the end of the remarks. Tracy is saying he's already done MSc Honors Agriculture and BSc Honors Agriculture from University of Agriculture. I want the ECA report for master. Can I submit only my MSc Honors degree and transcript for assessment? Yeah, you can definitely try that and find out what the assessment body has to say. We usually are not in a position to provide a comment on what the ECA body would come back to with the verdict, because if you do so and if you don't get that response, then perhaps our neck is in the news. So we try to remain neutral there. You can get in touch with them and find out your answer, or you can call them even, I think. So we'll be better off to get a quick answer. Ali Sayed is living in the US on work permit right now. He's 30 years of age, having 2 masters in cybersecurity from here in the US. If he applies in federal program, what are the chances for me? I think, Ali, there are good chances depending on your CRS score. I'm assuming that you have good CRS score, and your chances in PNP programs would be higher as well with that US qualification you have under your belt. And you are young as well, although you are losing points in age factor. You have started to lose points in age factor from age 30, but still it's not very late. I think you should go ahead with your assessment with us if you want our opinion on the eligibility. And we'll, of course, be happy to arrange your consultation as well. Since you are in US and we are in Canada, we are almost in the same time zone. So it would be convenient for us to get in touch with you. Muiz is saying he's planning to apply for a PhD diploma after completing his BBA. What are the chances of visa approval? I also have 2 years work experience in my relevant field. So we are not in a position to provide you, any feedback on visa approval. We have seen people getting refused even when everything was in order. All you need to do is to make sure that your application is complete and you are able to convince the visa officer that you are a genuine student. I'll have Khwaja Numan's comment on it as well, because this is the area is mostly looked after by him. Let's have his comment on it as well.
Yeah, especially in that circumstance, PGD diploma after completing BBA, if that PGD diploma is verifiable, if you're doing it from Pakistan, make sure it's verifiable from HEC, and if it is verifiable, we believe that you will get hold of a 2 or more qualification assessment, and obviously that will lead you to gain more experience by that time as well. So obviously, I'm sure it will be a good case to move on if the PGT diploma is added to your profile.
Okay, so Faisal Sayed is saying thanks for your kindness, such a kind cooperation. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being with us today. And Rashid is saying thanks for the wonderful response. I'll keep in touch with you. We are looking forward to be in touch with you as well, Rashid. It's a pleasure having you. Maggie Zunair saying thanks a lot. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. We try our best, and it's been a pleasure assisting all of you since 1991. Most of our clients come through the referral of our clients who are already here in Canada, and since we've been doing it since 1991. Whenever I go out in Toronto, although I'm not going out in Toronto so much, trying to remain away and follow the instructions, but whenever I go, I happen to find at least one client saying that, yeah, you helped us, because it's been so long in the business, 30 years, right? Okay, one last question that we are taking today is Omer Shahid is saying, what are the chances of PR in Alberta PNP program if a student is a 2 years diploma graduate from Seneca College, Ontario? Yeah, Omer, I think we need to discuss about it. Since you are in Ontario, feel free to call us, our Toronto office, and we'll be happy to assist you and have a discussion on it. Okay, you have our numbers, right? 416-913-0230. Okay, so I think we have most of the questions answered. I'm tempted to take more, but I think the time restriction precludes us from going ahead further, and Khwaja Numan has to drive all the way to his home as well in Karachi. It's already too late. But rest assured, we'll be with you again, same time, 11 a.m. EST, every Saturday. And be sure to join in. It's a regular feature of our services. And if you want to get in touch with our team, I'll show you the slide right here. Let me just put away the comment so that you can see Clearly, the contact information is right there. The Toronto office. In fact, we do have a slide for our Karachi
Right.
office as well. Let me see where I can find it. I always struggle to find it. Okay, so I'll just try to find where the here. Okay, and I'll just turn off the banner so you can see the full slide. So in Toronto, we are based at 100 King Street West, Toronto. And in Karachi, we are at suite number 706, 7th floor, Kashif Center, Shara Faisal. And the phone numbers in Karachi is most appropriate to dial 0300 251 6207. This is handled directly by Khwaja Naman. If you are getting in touch with our Toronto office, the most appropriate way could be WhatsApp 647 and most appropriate might be to send us a message rather than making a direct call, and then we can navigate you the uh, through the assessment process, and we'll be happy to assist you. So from all of us in Toronto and Karachi, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be in touch. Okay,
Take care.
wonderful.